So today I'm going to be giving you my full review on Eros Parfum, the newest Versace Eros flanker in the lineup. I was pumped up to see this one, did a first impressions on this, you can check it out. And this was another one of those weird releases where it just kind of popped up. So I believe when I did my first impressions, I didn't have a note breakdown to go off of. I was just going off of what my nose picked up on, because it was only available on like Dillard's and maybe one other website, like lesser, less talked about retailers. I mean, Dillard's is a big place, but typically if you're buying these at retail, it's usually going to be at like Macy's and Sephora or something like that, but just showed up randomly on Dillard's. So that's kind of how I got it. And at this point now, it's available on all of the major retailers. I will link it down below. And if there's currently a sale running for this one, I'll put it down below in the video description. It's changing all the time, so I don't know at the time of this video, me recording it right now, but I will link it up down below if you want to grab it. And it's on Fragrantica now, so we do have a note breakdown to go off of. I'm going to tell you how it smells, how it performs, when you can wear it, how it compares to the other Eros fragrances, and ultimately if I think it's worth picking up. Let's get into it. So when you first spray this one on, it's Eros, okay? So it's not super dissimilar to the rest of the lineup. It is still an Eros fragrance. It's an Eros flanker, just simply in a parfum concentration. And you would expect it to be similar just looking at the bottle. I mean, it's like the same bottle, just it says parfum instead. So that kind of already tells you going into this one that it's going to smell like the original before you've even tried it. So if you're someone who isn't a big fan of the original Eros, depending on why that is, you may or may not like this. And we'll talk about that in a minute. We'll start off by reading the note breakdown here. Up top we have mint and lemon in the mid, green apple, geranium, and in the base, amber and tonka bean. So note breakdown is very much Eros-like. And you do pick up on all of those. It's minty, green, and fresh. It's sweet. It's slightly bubblegummy. It's fruity from the apple. It's hard to deny that the opening of Eros from any concentration smells great. Playful, youthful, juvenile, young, immature, all of that stuff aside, I'm here to say that I think it smells really good up top. And I feel the same way with all of the Eros fragrances. I've got a lot of other things that may be better quality, that may be more unique, but I still like me some Eros every now and then. And I've found that out of all of them, I've been enjoying the Parfum the most. The reason why is because I get more of a richness. Now, looking at this note breakdown, it doesn't look like anything special. So, it's not necessarily them adding like, I don't know, boozy notes or leather or, something like that, oud, to, make it more interesting. What they're doing here is I think they're kind of switching the focus, because for me, this one comes across as being more rich, more creamy, more smooth, rather than being like super minty, aromatic, fresh and sweet, if that makes sense. There's kind of a shift in the direction that this one goes, where it leans more towards a creamy, well-refined, smooth, mature way. Still is not like a mature fragrance, right? It still is playful, but when you're putting it up against the others, this one's more mature than those. Very heavy on the amber here in this version, maybe more so than some of the others, at least to my nose. It just warms it up, makes it a bit more sweet in a different type of way rather than being super tonka bean powdery. It's more kind of creamy and sweet. The creaminess is also coming from like the lemon, how the lemon mixes with it, and then this kind of green minty freshness. And the apple, you have to love the apple, right? And that comes through quite a bit as well. It's pretty much an Eros staple. So let's go and talk about performance here. This one is a parfum concentration, so you would expect good performance out of it, and you get good performance out of it. On my skin, longevity is anywhere from 8 to 9 plus hours and beyond. So typically it's more than 8. Sometimes maybe it can drop down to that, just depending, but usually I'm lucky to get about 9 to 10 hours or so, and I'm sure it could probably go longer than that, but do realize that that upper end there, it's going to be pretty close to the skin. And speaking of close to the skin, the projection also behaves in a similar way. Now, this is common for parfums. That's something that I think needs to be said more often. People will see a parfum and they think it's going to be beast mode and monstrous in every single category. And now there are some fragrances that are like that. It just depends widely, especially on the niche side. There are some parfums that have monstrous projection and 15 hours of longevity. There really are some like that. Baccarat Rouge 548 straight, there you go, case in point. But that's not always common, right? Even the EDP of BR540 is super, super strong, stronger than most EDPs, stronger than most parfums. So it just depends on the scent. Now typically, especially on the designer side, as you go up in concentration, the longevity tends to go up, but the projection will go down a bit. So if you're looking for like a super loud fragrance like the original Eros, this is not going to be quite to the same effect unless you went super heavy on the trigger. Again, this is normal for the higher concentration fragrances, so I don't want you to freak out and get mad at Versace and say that this is weak because of that. That's just kind of how parfums are. So at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself what you want to get out of your fragrance. If you want something that's going to be a bit more refined, leaves, you know, a nice trail but doesn't project super far, something that maybe overall will be a bit more versatile, something just kind of more well-rounded, go with the Parfum. But if you really want that super strong, no holds barred, monstrous projection, the EDT and even the EDP would be more up your alley. I've said this before, but I tend to prefer the Parfums. I like how they wear on my skin. I like that they're a bit more dialed back. It doesn't choke me out. It doesn't choke out everyone around me. It's not obnoxious, and they leave a nice trail. Typically, they leave a better, heavier, stronger trail than EDTs and EDPs. But just keep in mind, the trail is after you walk through. The projection is you can be standing there and it just, you know, disperses, fills up the whole room. You don't even have to move. So it just depends on what you're after here. I find performance, though, for me to be really, really good. Of course, the compliment factor on this one is going to be fantastic. It's an Eros fragrance. They haven't lost that magical DNA here in terms of the compliments with this one. So no need to worry about that. You have to be okay with getting attention when you wear something like this. If you are a shy, introverted guy and you don't want attention, then maybe think twice, or go with the Parfum because it will be closer to your skin. Maybe you can get away with that if you just go with a couple sprays, wear it for yourself if you like it. Maybe, you know, you'll still get some comments here and there, but it's not going to have the same brutal delivery like the EDT is known for. To where that one you just get noticed left and right. So it just depends on what you're after again, but great compliment getter. And that leads us to the versatility, when you can wear it, that sort of thing. Now for me, I think this one is maybe a little bit more versatile than the EDT and the EDP. However, it's still not going to be like a formal scent or a dressed up scent. Something to keep in mind. At least for me, I would choose something different, something else from Versace, something else from any other brand. There are other fragrances out there. I still view this as a more fun, playful scent, maybe for an evening out, that sort of thing. A date if you really wanted to. That's kind of where I see this one as, you know, something dressed up, something formal, going out to dinner and stuff. Probably not really something I'm going to wear for. It can be done. You can do whatever you want with the scent. It doesn't matter, but it's just something to keep in mind here. In terms of the seasons, the temperature, that sort of thing, a cooler weather scent for sure. One that you would want to be careful with if you're wearing it in the summertime. The heat will really make this one project and make it even stronger. And it will also make this one more sweet as well. The cold air really does kind of tame this one down. It smooths it out. It kind of balances out the sweetness that it has. So I think for me, definitely a fall and winter scent and early spring. So we're kind of at that point of the video where I tell you if I think it's worth picking up, and I absolutely do. If you've been watching my other videos here where I've been featuring this one, I love it. I think it is, at least for me, my favorite Eros flanker. Smells fantastic, everything about it. From the more mild performance, giving it more versatility, to the heavier, smooth creaminess that it offers. It's a little bit less over in your face, loud and sweet. I just find it, for me, to be something that I would reach for and crave more than the Eau de Toilette, at least at this point in my collecting hobby. If you guys have tried Eros Parfum, let me know what you think of it down below, if you like it or if you don't. I will link it down below along with the other Eros flankers. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy. We'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.